Hello, welcome to today's Clarity Reset. Today we are going to talk about the money conversation that you've probably been avoiding. So let's be real. Most of us will do almost anything to avoid a direct conversation about money with a client, with ourselves, or even with like the version of our business that's not really generating what we need it to generate. So today we're going to have that conversation. We're not necessarily going to fix everything in a half hour, but we are going to stop pretending that that conversation doesn't need to happen in our journals where it's safe first. So before we get started, we're going to have a short grounding exercise just to make sure we are all here in the moment and ready to really explore this. So I invite you to get cozy in your chair, close your eyes or soften your gaze so that you're not focusing on anything in particular, and start to bring your attention to your breath as it moves in and out of your nostrils. Notice how it feels cold, cool air as it comes in. It's a little warmer as it leaves. Just notice that small, simple thing for a few moments. And now let's take a few breaths together. You're going to breathe in deep through your nose and then let it out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. And now I want you to bring attention to your body. Notice if there are any areas that you're holding any tension, holding any stress, places that feel a little tighter than normal. Just notice it. Now I want you to shrug your shoulders up to your ears, real high, real tight, tensing all your muscles. And now roll them around, backwards and all the way around, and make this a really exaggerated move. Really stretch out between your shoulder blades. Stretch out your shoulders. If you're really stretching this, you'll feel it in your neck and all through your upper back. And then just let your shoulders drop and rest your hands and your arms somewhere where they feel supported. And now we're going to do a quick body scan. So I want you to bring your attention to the very top of your head and kind of trace down to your forehead and your eyes, and like kind of the band around your temples. If you're feeling any tenseness or tightness there, relax that area. And now bring your attention to your jaw and relax that too. No clenching your jaw right now. Just let it go. Relax your tongue. And now down to your neck and your shoulders. Release any tension that you're feeling there as much as you can. Let your shoulders drop. If you need to roll them a little bit again, that's okay. And now draw your attention down into your chest and your torso and your back, and release any tension there that you might be holding. It's okay if you need to wiggle in your chair a little bit. Just release any tension that you can. And now down to your hips and your thighs. Really concentrate on that area. And if you're holding any tension there or tightness, kind of let it go. Let it be free. Let go of that tension. Now draw your attention down your legs and to your knees and your calves. Release any tension there. And now your ankles and your feet and your toes. If you've got any tension there, release that too. And now I want you to bring your attention back to your breath as it moves in and out of your body. Hopefully now you've released some of the tension that you brought with you to this practice. So now just focus in on your breath. Notice how it feels when you breathe in through your nose, the coolness of the air as it enters in your nostrils, and how it feels a little bit warmer as it moves out of your nostrils. Just notice it. We'll take a few more breaths together. So a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. And one more in through your nose and out through your mouth. And now I invite you to bring your attention back to the room. Grab your journal, open your eyes. Maybe open your eyes, then grab your journal, whichever works out. That grounding was a little longer than normal, but it just felt right. So I just kept going with it. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. And now I want you to brain dump. In your journal for the next 2 minutes, do not stop writing. I want you to write everything that comes to mind. It doesn't have to make any sense. You're not going to read this again. I mean, you can, but we're not going to work with this again. What you're doing is just getting all of the fragmented thoughts and ideas that just kind of float around all the time. We're getting those floaters out of the way. We're going to just put them on paper now, move them onto the paper so that whenever we get to the questions that we're going to be answering, you're not going to be sifting through all of that. So just keep writing, even if it doesn't make any sense. Just think of a word, write it down, and just write that word over and over until you think of the next word and the next word and the next word. And just keep going. You got another minute left. The key is to just keep writing whatever pops into your head. I do this almost every day, and my first word is stuff almost every time. So, really, this doesn't have to make any sense at all. Total nonsensical is fine. And if you do this frequently, it is funny to see what pops out first sometimes. Another 10 seconds, keep going. Okay, so the first question you're going to answer in your journal: what is the money conversation you have been avoiding and who is it with? When I said that, something popped into your head, probably. That's the one you write down. But if not, think about it. What is the money conversation you've been avoiding and who is it with? If you feel specifically called to a certain one, work with that one, write that one down. Explain what it is and who it's with. It could be a client that you haven't followed up with. It could be a price you haven't raised. So maybe this conversation is with your business itself. It could be an invoice that you need to send out, or even a proposal that you need to send out. Maybe it's a revenue goal that you haven't said out loud yet. Just name it as specifically as you can. Vague is safe, specific is actually useful. We're not going for safe here, we're going for useful. So be specific. What is the money conversation you've been avoiding and who is it with? We got another 2 minutes left, so get deep. You got time. Keep going. Maybe it's with yourself. Maybe it's about a budget. Again, it could be a client. It could be a partner who you work with, or someone who you work for as a contractor, or a vendor that you work with. I mean, it can literally be anybody. So just think about the money conversations you've been avoiding. Who's it with? And what is it? Maybe it's with yourself. Got about 20 seconds left, so start wrapping it up. What is the money conversation you've been avoiding and who is it with? Okay. The second question that I want for you to answer: what do you believe about money that is making that conversation harder than it needs to be? What do you believe about money that is making that conversation harder than it needs to be? And this isn't necessarily what you know intellectually about money, right? This is what you believe in your body when it's time to talk about money. How does it make you feel? What comes up for you when you need to have the money talk? Whether it's with yourself, your boss, your employees, your partner, your anybody. What This is about, like, what you actually believe, like, in your body when it's time to talk about money. Where did that belief come from, and is it still true? We got a couple minutes on this, so just get deep about it. What are your beliefs about money that are making these conversations harder than they need to be? Okay, so again, what do you believe about money that is making that conversation harder than it needs to be? What do you actually believe in yourself when it's time to talk about money or have that money discussion with someone you love, you care about, someone in your business, yourself? And where did that belief come from? And is it still true? You start wrapping it up again. You want to address, where did that belief come from and is it still true? So make sure you address that here. Okay. The next question: what has avoiding this conversation already cost you? What is the cost of this silence? What has avoiding this conversation already cost you? This could be in revenue, it could be in energy, it could be in opportunities, it can be in how you see yourself as a business owner. But be honest because the avoidance of it has a price too. Got another couple minutes left. So, again, what has avoiding this conversation already cost you? And this could be in revenue, in energy, in opportunities. It could be how you see yourself as a business owner, but be honest. Be honest about this. What is it costing you? What is the cost of this silence about money? What is putting it off, or what is not doing the thing costing you? Okay, start wrapping it up. What has avoiding this conversation already cost you? Make sure you get all of it down, even if it's like little stuff too. Okay. And finally, I want you to finish this sentence and write the whole sentence out, not just the answer. If I stopped avoiding this conversation, the first thing I would do is blank. If I stopped avoiding this conversation, the first thing I would do is blank. All right, start wrapping that up. If I stopped avoiding this conversation, the first thing I would do is blank. And as you're finishing up, I will say this. The most expensive conversation in your business is usually the one you keep not having. So, as we went through this exercise today, and as you journaled about the conversation, the money conversation you're avoiding, whether it's with yourself, your business, maybe a partner, your employees, a boss, someone who's a contractor, maybe a client, whoever it is, you putting it off is probably from some sort of fear, right? There's probably some kind of fear attached to it. There's some uncomfortableness attached to it. There's something that just feels ick about it. And let's be real, a lot of things about money can feel pretty ick, um, especially for people who are in businesses for purpose and not money. And I do understand that money can be a purpose too, because it's a means to an end. But when you are purpose driven rather than money driven, when you have to have a money conversation, it's incredibly hard. It's incredibly difficult, even if you have to have that money conversation with yourself, because sometimes that conversation is just pulling yourself out of the clouds and being real about how things are truly going and the money that's coming in and out. Or maybe it has to do with a client, and you need to send a proposal, or you need to send an invoice, or you need to ask for payment, or you need to up the price, or there's so many ways that that could be the case. Or you just need to get comfortable enough to even quote a price to any client. Maybe that's what you're working with right now, is coming up with how much you want to charge people for what services. Any of those things can feel really uncomfortable if your relationship with money is also uncomfortable. And again, this is something that especially purpose driven business owners really struggle with. So I hope that by really looking at your belief around money and maybe where it originated, and maybe it has nothing to do with what you're facing right now, what you're working on right now. But the reality is that we can't do this work without supporting ourselves and our families and the people around us who need support. And so the money conversation has to happen. It has to happen for many of us. Unless you have a source of income in some other way, as a business owner, you're gonna have to have some tough money conversations. So, anyway, I hope that this brought some clarity around one of those conversations for you. And, if ever you start to feel ick about money, maybe pull this session back up and revisit it and come back to it and really explore why underneath and see if you can move past whatever those blocks are. So, at any rate, I hope that this session was helpful for you. I love to hear from you in the comments. So, let me know how it went. Hope you all have a great day.